Can you learn English through songs? Is it possible? Is it that you get misguided? Are there chances of getting misled? Let's take a look at this video and get to know more. Welcome to another video on my channel. My name is Rini Rose Matthew and I am a CELTA certified tutor. Let's dive deep into today's topic. So, is it advisable to learn English or any language through songs? You can learn through songs, watching movies, listening to the series, whatever it is, but you have to keep these pointers in mind. When it comes to songs, you know that songs are really known for their poetic, rhythmic, and also the imagery format, because that makes it rhyming, that makes it different. You experience the tempo, the beat, and the rhythm, even if there are no instruments played in the background. So when it comes to songs, remember that it is created also for rhythm, the beat. And sometimes they have to make adjustments. For example, they may have to just discard, ignore the grammar part. For example, I ain't got nothing. It's not correct grammar. Or he don't know instead of he doesn't know, because that's to just adjust the metrics, sometimes the rhythm, and there will be different aspects. It's not that the composer doesn't know English. This can be applied and this can be vividly seen in poems. Those who love reading poems will definitely know the meaning of this, the rhythm, the beat, the tempo, and these kind of elements. So remember that you will not get the proper structure, the grammar, when you listen to songs. That's the first point. It's created for rhythm, imagery, and all that. The second point is, you may not understand the meaning of a sentence completely, which is okay. When you listen to podcasts, when you listen to news also, you may not completely understand the meaning. But when you learn English or any language through songs, you may not get the idea of why the sentence is written like that, why the sentence is framed in such a way. And you have to really be careful, because if you're a beginner, you may just grasp that part of the entire content, and that may not really help you. So it's more about the sentence structure and the syntax, which can really be disturbing. So if you are a beginner, if you're new to a particular content, please understand that it will not convey the entire meaning. It's never going to convey the entire meaning and the entire context. And you may wonder why it was given in that song in such a way, and here it's totally different. Once you reach an intermediate level, or when you reach the upper intermediate level, things will be different, because you will know. You would be able to make the difference and also differentiate easily between these kind of subtle nuances. So that was the first point, and I added a sub point to it. People will definitely ignore again and discard the full pronunciation of a word. They may just omit, even swallow a part of the word, because again they give importance to the rhythm and they have to fit the words in that line. So when they keep singing, and in order to adjust to the beat and the rhythm, they may have to just omit and ignore some part of the words and the verbs, or even the sentences. So if you're new to the English language, you may think that this is how the language is spoken, or this is what we can do when it comes to semi-formal context or even in a conversation. Every time you're not going to sing your lines. Even if you're a singer, you have to speak. Singing is different, but when it comes to really formal and semi-formal context, it is not advisable to use these kind of sentences. And if you really love writing, which some of you already are into, you have to definitely know the complete structure. Okay, so if you are into pronunciation, which goes hand in hand with accent, pronunciation is definitely important. You have to listen to the words separately, and if you want to learn a word from a song, it's great because you get ideas. The advantage is you get access to different ideas. It's like reading a particular part of a story, or there are songs that really sing a story. it may not give you any practical ideas, contextual ideas. Some of them will be bitten and some of them can be swallowed. Certain parts of the songs can also be the part of a whole. I'll elaborate this in detail. Most of the time, I would say lyrics are not practical in the sense it's good to listen to lyrics, it's great, just like how I mentioned it's a story, but it may not give you a practical viewpoint. It may have a distorted idea or two. Okay, so you may not have access to the practicality of life, which is found in stories and novels. But when it comes to songs, the narrative may not be easily comprehensible. Just like a poem, it can be abstract. It can also be very absurd for some people who are new to the language. I've heard many people saying that when we read pure literary books, or books that are part of literature, we really don't understand the complete context. And how do we really go about it? It's not easy to completely crack that nut when it comes to the beginning part of learning, the beginning phase. All of us were or have been into this particular part of the journey. But when you're learning the language, understand at least full context. So that is why we have recommendable books. We have book recommendations by Instagrammers, by YouTubers, and even tutors online. Please refer to some of the books recommended on my channel as well. It is definitely going to help you. Well, it's very important to really speak about this because some tutors can really be misleading. I know that social media gives a plethora of content, topics, but sometimes it can really be confusing for the learners. I've come across different creators, but my learners say that it becomes too much for a beginner and intermediate learner. I know that C1 learners and C2 learners will be able to completely comprehend the exact difference. They will be able to differentiate, but imagine when tutors pick on these small mistakes that are really trivial. I remember once I listened to the interview by Dr. Shashi Tharoor, and he was saying that these are trivial mistakes. For example, it's like it is this, not this, okay? Or for example, it's not healthy, it's healthy, wealthy, okay? Or you have this word, resume is the American pronunciation, but it is resume in the British pronunciation of the word. So you have to know the exact difference between the words so that you really understand how to distinguish and differentiate between these contexts. Being an Indian, being a non-native English speaker, you have the right to switch between the pronunciation without the accent. It's like the sound that you give to the words. So assume, presume, okay, resume and resume. Yeah, so these are the words. Let's repeat the words again. Assume, presume, resume, resume. It's good if you can listen to the word, understand the meaning, and go for the exact context. It will definitely be beneficial. There are people who pick on these kind of trivial errors, and that can really create a lot of fear in a learner's mind, in a beginner's mind, even when it comes to developing your confidence. So these are pardonable. If you look at the number of creators creating content on TikTok, which is not accessible in India, there are people from the native speaking countries also making such kind of subtle errors, subtle mistakes, which are actually pardonable. So we have legends, we have great speakers who allow these kind of mistakes to be made, and that is how exactly you correct it. If you don't have access to mistakes, it's definitely not going to help you. If you're not going to make these mistakes, how would you learn? So that is why I've given the title, and that is why I have asked you to pay attention to these kind of things. Maybe everybody doesn't need access to such content, but there are people who really want access to such kind of basic things. So communication is something that happens spontaneously. It should be done on the spot. It's not a space where you get a lot of time to think, reflect, and then give the sentences, right? So I have the words again on the screen that can really be confusing. Assumption, presumption, presume, assume, resume, resume. When you practice, it becomes really very easy, and I hope you get the difference between these kind of words. So apart from the practical aspect, it's more about the abstract narrative, which is also a fashion. It's a trend when it comes to songs. It can be a part of a whole, but that is required in songs. It's part of poetry. Some poems are very, very, very clear. It's lucid. It will not have any abstract idea. And I wouldn't say that all the poems written for children are like that, but it'll always have part of the huge canvas or the palette that's always created. Okay, so these 3 pointers are very important when it comes to songs. You can listen to songs, you can get ideas, words, you can also maybe get a part of a story and what really the composer, the singer is trying to convey. And when it comes to stress, according to the metrics, according to the rhythm of the song, according to what the singer really want to put forth to the audience, they stress the word. They don't really abide by the rules of a language, because you have all the freedom to just be completely creative. You don't have to hold the reins. You don't have to retain or confine yourself. That's the beauty of poetry and songs and lyrics. Okay, but when it comes to prose, it's different. I hope you get the meaning instead of messing up the whole thing, because we see a lot of tutors who really do not put forth these points clearly, and they correct. Sometimes they go to the extent of correcting every learner when the learner doesn't even comprehend the complete idea behind these pointers. I hope this helps you, and happy learning.